What's up, guys? My name's Just My Luck. Welcome back to another YouTube video. We're going to be going over the tier list for Season 1 on MultiVersus. Once again, these are just opinions of mine. We're going to be going in alphabetical order, and I also have Twitch chat here to help discuss where people should go. And I also got my good friend Quentin here to also kind of help me discuss on where people should be placed. Maybe have a couple debates. So, you ready, Quentin?
But to clarify for everyone, I have not played everyone. I have played Rain Dog.
Okay, so I'll cue to you when we get to Rain Dog. So Arya Stark, even though she is the lightest character, I do feel like she deals a decent amount of damage. She has a lot of utility when it comes to 2v2s and 1v1s. So in my opinion, Arya Stark belongs in A tier. For those reasons, her having a lot of utility in 2v2s and 1v1s, decent amount of DPS, but she is still super light, so that's why I'm not putting her in S tier. Next is Batman. Batman, once again, having a lot of utility as he's Batman. He deals a really good amount of damage. He's really good in 1v1s and 2v2s. He can help out the team a lot. I don't feel like as though he can carry the team, especially in 2v2s, because his hitbox is pretty big, almost as big as Superman's or Garnet's or even Rain Dog, in my opinion. So he is also, I feel like, going to go in A tier. I don't feel like he deserves to be S tier. Um, Bugs, in my opinion, I feel like Bugs deserves to be in S tier. The reason I say that is because of his projectiles dealing a huge amounts of knockback and damage, him having absolutely ridiculous combos with almost all of his moves comboing into one another, and we got to talk about the bat. I mean, the bat kills at like 90, 80% when they're pretty far up towards the top of the ring. And then, of course, his spike with his mallet is just absolutely ridiculous. Moving on to Finn the Human. Now, I would put Finn in S tier. I would. But ever since they nerfed him, I think he more belongs on A tier rather than being S tier. And I think the reason for that is because of the nerfs to his backpack. And I feel like once they get that hitbox, hurtbox UI overhaul coming out here soon, hopefully, crossing our fingers, I feel like he's going to be pushed down to B tier just because of uh, how his hitboxes and hurtboxes are going to work now. But as of right now, where he stands is A tier. His backpack is still very good. It can kill very reliably, but you can't just spam it now and absolutely kill everybody. And his hitboxes as of right now are still really broken. He still gets priority on everything, but you have to use him more utility based rather than just spamming your backpack move. Going on to Garnet. Garnet, I feel like belongs on B tier. She's not incredibly good, only because all of her moves require you to be up in everybody's face. She doesn't have a whole lot of range, and then her gauntlets, when you use them, root you in place, and you can't move or dodge out of it or anything like that. Well, you can dodge out of the gauntlets, but you can't control them after you dodge out of it, kind of like with Tom and Jerry when he straps Jerry to the rocket. But other than that, Garnet doesn't have a whole lot of armor on all this stuff. She has armor on, I think, like one move, which is her floor combo, and it's only on the third hit. So Garnet, as long as you can make her come to you, she's pretty easy to beat, but I wouldn't say she's absolute trash. She's got really decent damage, pretty good knockback, and she can kill at pretty low percents as long as you get a fully charged attack. Moving on to Harley Quinn. So Harley Quinn's kind of iffy. I would say she's either high B tier or low A tier. So I'm going to put her in low A tier to give her the benefit of the doubt. They did buff her weight in this last patch, making her a little bit harder to kill. She's got really good projectiles, which help in 2v2s when you can help with zoning. She can also ignite people, which I feel is really helpful, especially you can stack it with that flammable dock and get even more ignites. And then in 1v1s, I've been absolutely dog watered by a few Harleys while playing Tom and Jerry. So I feel like Harley is really, really strong, especially for being on the lighter side of the characters and being an assassin, meaning that she deals less damage than everybody on the roster. But Harley Quinn, really good in my opinion. So we'll just have to see where she goes from here. They didn't change her a whole bunch, and I feel like a lot of people agree with me that she belongs on A tier. Iron Giant, I feel like belongs in C tier. The reason is because Iron Giant's hitboxes and hurtbox is ridiculously large. So you're getting hit by literally everything that the enemy team is throwing at you. Maybe in 1v1s, he could be low B tier, but I'm taking into account for 1v1s and 2v2s, and I feel like in both Iron Giant is C tier at best just because of how large he is. He's got a really cool utilities with his shield and being able to transform, but the only way your transformation when you become enraged is really good is if you have a teammate to jump inside of you while you're transformed and use your other abilities. Other than that, yeah, I mean, you're really hard to kill. Like he's the heaviest character in the game. It takes like 200 to kill an Iron Giant successfully, but he's just so big and he takes the wall up of everyone on every map that you play. It doesn't matter. You're gonna get the full focus of two people in a 2v2, and in 1v1s, you're just gonna get hit by everything. So that's why I feel like Iron Giant belongs in C tier, just because of how big he is. Jake. So, in my opinion, Jake also belongs in A tier. Feel like he's got a really, really good poke with his stretchy powers. He can kill pretty easily, especially when you charge up your stretchy powers. Um, he's got his house ability, which reflects projectiles. So if you're playing against someone with a lot of projectiles, you can just house a whole bunch and reflect all of it. The one downside with Jake, though, is you're pretty easy to kill for a bruiser. And I feel like killing a Garnet is harder to do than killing a Jake, because once Jake gets up to like 90%, one really, really good hit and he's pretty much done. He's got great recovery though. So with his up special, being able to stretch over to the edge of the map and being able to climb on the wall and jump up and whatnot, he's got really, really great recovery. So I feel like that's why he belongs on A tier. Because even though he is kind of easy to kill more than the other bruiser characters, he still has really, really great recovery. Moving on to LeBron. So LeBron, kind of iffy. I feel like LeBron belongs in S tier. The only problem with LeBron is he is so hard to use. All of his combos are really hard to pull off. But beyond that, LeBron absolutely runs the field with everybody. He can kill practically everyone on the roster with his slam dunk alone. Most of his attacks are super slow. Yes, yeah, I feel like his attacks are pretty slow, but they have a really, really, really good knockback. LeBron is just an absolute monster. I don't know what else to say about LeBron. He's kind of hard to kill too, not gonna lie. Doesn't have absolutely awesome recovery like Jake or even Superman, but even though his recovery is kind of he still hurts a lot. And I mean absolutely hurts. He hits like a freight train. Moving on to Morty. So, hilariously enough, Rick and Morty haven't come out yet. We won't get Morty until the 23rd. It's the 21st right now. So we'll get Morty on Tuesday. I feel like Morty is going to be B tier. Only because I'm not sure of what Morty is going to be able to do. No, we haven't seen his move list. We haven't seen how much he weighs. We haven't seen any of his specials. So I'm not, or any of his perks. So I'm not entirely sure where Morty's going to stand. This is just like a theory. But I feel like Morty is going to be B tier when he comes out. Only because, and I hate to say this, it's Morty. Like, he doesn't have a whole lot of moves that he does in the show that I could think of that could be implemented in the game. I feel like he's going to be flailing around a lot, kind of like Luigi in Smash Bros. So I feel like that's probably going to be a. I think Morty's going to be B tier when he comes out. I think he's going to be mid. I think he's going to be I. He's not going to be amazing. He's not going to like run the field with everybody, but I don't feel like he's going to be absolute dog water. But then again, he might be C tier. He might be pretty bad, you know? But I'm going to put him B tier just to be kind of mid because we haven't seen a whole lot on him. So this is my prediction for Morty. He's going to be B tier. My good friend Quentin here. We're going to talk about his main. Quentin, what do you think Rain Dog sits at?
S tier solid character. I'm
Uh,
kidding. It's a solid B character. Uh,
B?
yes. So Rain Dog is pretty fast horizontally. Vertically can't really do anything. Really strong and big attacks without being gigantic, but still larger than other characters. Gonna be getting hit a lot. Pretty easy to punish when things are missed. That kind of stuff. So Rain Dog is a solid B tier character. Really good in doubles and okay in singles.
All right. I think I would have to agree with you on that. Rain Dog does belong in B tier. I thought about putting him in C tier just because of how okay he is in 1v1s, but I've been killed a couple times by a Rain Dog in 1v1s, so I give it to Rain Dog mains out there that can play 1v1s, man, because they hurt. They're pretty out there, man. But B tier is a pretty good spot for Rain Dog, I feel like. Moving on to Rick Sanchez. This is gonna be my new main when he comes out. I've seen his kit. I think we've all seen his kit. I think it's been leaked. And I think he's going to have a huge, huge skill ceiling, but just as big as a skill curve, kind of like Tom and Jerry. So I feel like Rick is going to be S tier when he comes out. I think Rick is going to be an absolute gangster when he comes out. His portal guns seem really, really cool. His Mr. Meeseeks covers a lot of ground. I know you can also charge all of his side and up smashes, so those are going to be coming in really handy because not a lot of characters have charged attacks. But I think Rick is going to be an absolute monster once he comes out. And then I know that some of his perks ignite projectiles when they travel through the portal, and then you can also knock people through the portals. So I feel like you can set up a lot of kill situations with that, where like you're trying to recover, you put a portal on stage, you end up knocking them off, and then it just absolutely launches them towards the ground and kills them. I feel like we're gonna be seeing a lot of that. I think Rick is also gonna be really really chosen when he comes out. I feel like he's just gonna be everywhere we look. But I'm gonna be playing the crap out of him. Let's see, Shaggy. So Shaggy, I think he'd be A tier, but they have kind of nerfed him since then. So I think he's an in between A B tier character. I don't think I would positively say he's a B tier character, and I don't think he's an absolute A character. He's kind of in the middle of these two of A and B. So I think I'm gonna keep him in A, even though I'm telling you, he's like right in the middle of A and B because of the nerfs. He was a strong A, but with the nerfs, being able to punish him more easily now, he still has his knockback move, his kick, still does a crap ton of knockback. He still has his charge ability, so you can get armor on every special. His down special, his Grand Slam, still gets armor. And I feel like Shaggy is just. I feel like they need to nerf him just a little bit. Just a little bit more. Because that sidekick is still ridiculously strong. And I feel like you can go into 1v1s, 2v2s, and just still use the sidekick and absolutely win no matter what you're doing. Other than that, he's got great kill moves. His combos are kind of ridiculous, and that's more of like higher skilled players. It's when you can combo with Shaggy, deal a lot of damage, and then use your kill moves. But you can also still pick up Shaggy, eat your sandwich, charge up, whatever you need to do, and just sidekick and win. So moving on to Steven. Steven, unfortunately, I think is still a D class character. And I hate to do it to those Steven mains out here. But Steven is, I feel like he has a lot of uncracked potential that I just haven't seen or haven't used myself. So I feel like he has a lot of potential. I think he has potential to be an A character for real. But from what I have seen, only one of his signature perks is okay. It's not amazing. His bubble, pretty good. I hate that you can't deal damage to the enemy while they're in the bubble. I feel like that would make him even a B class character. But when you bubble people, you can't do anything to them. Um, their teammates can break them out, but that's pretty much it. You can set up terrain, which I think is pretty cool. And if you can use those shields correctly, I guess, I'll put those in quotes correctly. If you can use your shields correctly, he can be actually really, really good. But I just feel like anyone just picking him up and playing him in 2v2s or 1v1s is just going to have a really hard time at winning games or dealing a whole lot of damage. I also want to point out his Watermelon Steven ability isn't that great. Watermelons die pretty easily, just 1 or 2 hits, they're dead. So I feel like if they buffed Steven just a little bit, I think we could confidently put him in B tier for sure. But I just feel like he's just not that great right now. They haven't really changed him a whole bunch either. So we'll just have to see. I feel like he belongs in D tier until we can see more of his potential unlocked. Just kind of like in the anime. Moving on to Superman. Superman, I think, is S tier. His moves hit like a truck. His recovery is ridiculous. He's the second heaviest character in the game, and he gets armor on everything he does. You use your up special, you have armor. You use your side smash, you have armor. You use your up smash, you have armor. You use your down smash, you have armor. So, Superman belongs in S tier for sure. There's not a whole lot of things you can do when fighting a Superman. His invade window is ridiculous, especially if you use the slippery customer perk to make it even more ridiculous. But other than that, he's gonna run the field. He's gonna absolutely kill everyone who runs into him. And I feel like he needs to be reworked a little bit. Maybe not deal as much damage, maybe make him a little bit lighter, but that wouldn't really make sense. So I'm not sure what they could do to Superman, but I just feel like he's an absolute monster on the field in 1v1s and 2v2s. Recovery, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. He can fly. He can fly. He's Superman. Um, Moving on to Taz. Taz. D. He's absolute dog water. He was S tier, bro, back in the alpha, but they nerfed him so hard. He is D class now. They kind of changed him a little bit, but you don't get priority on any of your moves. You don't get a lot of your combos off. If you use your tornado, somebody can just throw anything at you and you'll get hit from it. Same thing goes for his dogpile cloud. You throw that out, you can just be hit out of it. He deals pretty decent amount of damage. He's super easy to kill. He's super light. But I don't know. Taz just got nerfed into the ground. And I feel like you can't confidently win a 1v1 or a 2v2 with Taz. I know there's players out there that play Taz and they're just absolutely monsters, eating everything, tornado combos, pulling off the chicken debuff. But I feel like for anyone who picks him up, you're gonna just die. You're just gonna die. If you play Taz, you're just dead. And that's unfortunate because I play a little bit of Taz and I think he's a fun character. Really cool concept. Really fun. But man, you just get ran on anytime you play him. Moving on to my boy, the one and only Tom and Jerry. Now, I would say he's S tier. I would say he's S tier because of everything he can do. His rockets kill, his frying pan kills, his Jerry slingshot kills. He's got really good combo potential. He's not that hard to kill. He's actually pretty heavy. He's a lot heavier than most people think. Um, but I feel like, and God, it hurts me to do this. I think he's high A tier. I think he's just like Shaggy. I think he's between S and A. He's got a huge skill ceiling, but I feel like this curve is even worse than the ceiling. To be a good Tom and Jerry player, you have to balance your melee attacks with your projectiles. But you also can't be afraid to use your projectiles. So it's kind of like a balance beam. You got to be good at both. And if you're too heavy on one, then you're going to get absolutely pooped on if you don't do the other. So I feel like having a good balance with Tom and Jerry is going to make most people even better with him. And then also learning what, like experimenting what you can do with like the tennis racket and being able to time your tennis balls in the air. I feel like unlocks a lot of the potential of what Tom and Jerry can do and does. So don't be afraid to pick up Tom and Jerry. Just be ready that you're going to have a huge skill curve. And if you can get really good at him. I feel like I'm pretty good. My ranking with him is like 10,000 or something like that. So I'm in top 10K with Tom and Jerry, which I feel like is pretty decent, but you never know. He's really good. I feel like he's a really decent character. Moving on to Velma. Velma, I feel like belongs in C tier. I feel like she's okay. She's got really good projectiles which track, which I think is kind of ridiculous. She can be easily killed though. Her up close combos, like melee range, isn't that great. So I feel like if you can get a Velma up close, you could kill her pretty easily. Like I said, I've played everybody at least once. And when I played Velma, the biggest thing about Velma is you got to collect the evidence. And if you can collect evidence and use her cop ability, I feel like that is her best thing. But getting all the evidence is really hard, especially when people can just destroy it. But really good ranged character, really good support. But in a 1v1 situation, she's just, you're going to absolutely trash on a Velma player. Like, absolutely trash on her. Other than that, not much, a lot to say. I wish we could see more potential out of Velma. I know they nerfed her really, really hard in this last patch. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. That's in my last video. But yeah, I think that's where Velma stands. C tier at best. C tier at best. Maybe even D tier, but I'm gonna put her at C tier. Give her the benefit of the doubt. C tier because in 2v2s she's pretty good. I feel like she's pretty good in 2v2s. Lastly, but not least, Wonder Woman. I feel like Wonder Woman was B tier, but with these new buffs, I think she's A tier. I think she's really, really good. They increased her weight by 11 points, making her slightly less heavy than Superman. She's got armor. She can give armor to her teammates and herself. She's got a lot of projectile blocking with all of her shield abilities. Her whip can save and kill people. Her charged up attacks. She's got a lot of kill moves. I guess is what I'm trying to say. She's got a lot of kill moves, especially for a tank character. She's one of the lightest. She is the lightest tank, but I feel like that doesn't downplay her because of her combo potential, her kill moves, and her ability to block projectiles and give armor to herself and allies pretty easily. So I feel like that's why, especially after they buffed her with her whip and her weight, I feel like she bumped up to A tier. So I feel like a lot of the roster, as you can see, is A tier. We've got three, because this is more of a guess. So we got three S tiers: Bugs, LeBron, Superman. A tier: Arya, Batman, Finn, Harley, Jake, Shaggy, Wonder Woman, Tom and Jerry. B tier: Garnet, Morty, Rain Dog. C tier: Iron Giant, Velma, and then D tier: Steven and Taz. And I think I'm going to cut to Quentin, get your opinions. What do you think? What do you think about this tier list?
There are a couple adjustments that should be made to this. Iron
Okay.
Giant isn't hard to kill. He's D tier. Kill him off the bottom. He's so tall that he dies before his head disappears. And then Velma is B tier, not C tier. Steven is C tier, but Garnet is also C tier. So that's my personal thoughts on it. You put too many in A tier. Tom and Jerry is S tier, but with the way most people play it is A tier. And then,
Who would you take off of A tier?
huh?
I feel like a lot of the roster is really really good.
A lot of the roster is good. However, it's too many in A tier.
Okay, okay. Explain. What do you mean? What would you
Like,
change? Who would you take off of A tier?
I would take Arya off A tier.
All right, and you'd put her at B.
Yeah, she is the top of B tier in my brain.
Okay.
Because she is really good. She's really light. She has a lot of resources that are hard to keep track of, which is what makes her a threat to everyone. But she's really not that hard to go against and beat. So that's why she's the top of B tier.
Okay. Who else would you change? Because I feel like that's a pretty good argument for putting Arya at B.
I would also put Wonder Woman at S tier.
Really? I don't think she.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't.
The thing is,
I
a
don't
bunch of
think.
people just pick up Wonder Woman. None of them actually play her. The people that actually play her dominate with her. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I want to look at this as more like an objective. Like if anyone was to pick any of these characters up, this is how good they would be in 1v1s and 2v2s. So I feel like if anyone just picked up Wonder Woman, she's a really good pick in both 1v1 and 2v2s,
Mm,
but if you don't know her kits, she's still really good, but you might get
yeah.
ran on. So for instance, I feel like the people in S tier, I feel like anyone can pick up Bugs or Superman and still deal a lot of damage and still do a lot for their team or even by themselves. The only exception might be LeBron, just because he does take some practice to getting used to.
Hmm.
But if you could figure out that move list, LeBron is just an absolute beast.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I feel like she is high A tier. I feel like she's high A tier, but I wouldn't put her in S. I just don't. I don't know. That just doesn't sit right with
Maybe it's
me.
just the rain dog in me getting dominated by Wonder Woman.
That might be it. That might be it. What else would you change? I know you said Iron Giant D tier. I would have to agree with you, but his ability to put on that shield, give Gray health, and kill from pretty much anywhere on the map, kind of ridiculous. Yes, he's easy to
Nah.
kill. He's easy to kill, absolutely. But he's so heavy, you have to get him to like 200 before you even think about killing him.
See, there's the problem. You're thinking about killing him off the side or off the top. Kill him off the bottom, you can kill him at 70. You just attack him on the stage with base knockback moves that just carry him across, and then just throw out a spike anywhere near him off the stage, and he's gone because he's gonna get hit by it.
And then you said Steven C tier.
Yes.
Why? Why Steven C tier? Because I
Why is
just
Steven C
I
tier?
haven't I've played Steven. I've seen a lot of Stevens. I feel like the ones that are really skilled are still okay. I don't feel like they're great. Um, but I just don't feel like he's that good in both situations of a 1v1 and 2v2. I just don't feel like
I
he's that good.
I do. So the thing is, it's similar to Taz where his range is limited other than the few projectiles he has. And those projectiles are pretty good, but he's not that much worse than Velma. So to say that he's an entire tier below Velma, it doesn't add up to me. And the whole point of the opponent getting bubbled is mainly in 1v1s, it gives you a moment to heal. Because they can't do anything, and you can't do anything. So you heal.
I don't know. I just feel like there's not a lot of pick it, Steven. Like I said, it's either you're really really good or you're gonna be really really dog water. So would you agree with me that he belongs in the middle of C and D?
I
I'll
can
get,
flex that way.
okay.
I could see where that could be said.
I feel
So I
like
can agree with that.
there's a few characters that belong in the middle. Like Shaggy, like I said, belongs in the middle of A and B. In my
Hmm.
opinion, he's like dead center of A and B. Uh, Steven, I will put him in the middle of C and D. Um, Garnet, you think she's a C tier? Really?
Yeah.
I don't. I don't know. She's got a lot of kill moves, man. Her kill moves is ridiculous. She can kill off stage without even like chasing you with her gauntlets, which have huge
Hmm.
knockback. Her dance buff, which gives you a speed buff and an attack buff, is kind of crazy. and it works for you and your partner.
I feel
So
like I've just not seen that utilized at all, though. Like it's rarely, if ever, used. And if it is used, it's not utilized once it's activated.
plus, while you're doing the whole buff, you're immune to projectiles. I mean, you can still go in there and punish it with a melee attack, but projectiles don't touch her, which I think is pretty cool.
To be fair, I didn't know that because I always just went in and punished.
Yeah, you can punish her with melee attacks, but if she's charging her dance, you can't touch her with projectiles. So I
But who? I feel like that mainly affects like LeBron and Batman's attack
LeBron,
against her.
it's LeBron, Batman, Tom and Jerry, Shaggy Sandwich, Steven Shields, Rain Dogs, all of his projectiles. I don't know. I feel and
Rain Dog ain't gonna go in with a projectile when you're standing still. I'm just gonna say that.
so I don't know. I feel like she's low B tier. I wouldn't put her in C though. I don't think she's worse than Arya or Rain Dog. I feel like she can hold her own, especially on the field. So I feel like she's pretty mid.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay, so what do you think about this tier list? What are your thoughts on this one?
It's pretty solid. It just needs to be organized.
Organized in like
Purely just the A tier needs to be rearranged to like which one is better than the other.
okay, so low A tier, Shaggy.
Yes,
Okay, above Shaggy, I would put
I personally would put Finn.
Finn.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. I was gonna say Wonder Woman because I feel like Finn is better than Wonder Woman because I don't feel like Wonder Woman's over Finn.
I think it would be Shaggy, Finn, Wonder Woman, Jake, Harley, Batman, and then Tom and Jerry. With how it currently is.
So like that,
Nah, Batman's higher.
higher than Harley or Jake because I feel like Jake is pretty up there, dude. Jake's pretty up there.
I think Batman is higher than Harley, but not higher than Jake.
Okay, so you would set up A tier like this.
Yes.
Okay. What about S tier? Who do you think is like the best character?
The best character is Bugs.
Okay. I would have to agree with you on that. Bugs is just he's so annoying. He can kill super easily.
And
Eh,
so much stage control.
yeah,
He just takes up so much space because all of his.
projectiles are huge.
Yeah, they are fittingly comically large.
um, I think behind Bugs, I'd have to put Superman and then LeBron.
I would agree with that.
I don't know where. I think Rick is gonna be S tier. I seriously think Rick is gonna be S tier when he
I
comes out.
also think Rick is going to be S tier.
Um, So moving on to B, what do you think about B? Would you rearrange this or?
I think Morty is going to be worse than Garnet for sure.
I think he is too. I think he's gonna be pretty bad. I think he's
And
gonna be pretty bad.
unless they try and like pull some shenanigans, then he's not going to be that good.
Pull like an
He
like an
might even be
Akira,
C tier.
like an Akira.
Yeah.
We might get Akira Morty. Who knows? He might be S tier. Shit. uh, I think I like this. I do feel like Velma is worse than Steven, but I still feel like Steven belongs in C tier. Um, I feel like Taz is worse than Iron Giants, but both of them do belong in D tier.
Now, to be fair though, any of these characters are good with the right pairing.
Oh yeah, like let's see, Taz and who would you say? Wonder Woman? I think Taz Wonder Woman would be pretty nasty, especially if you
I
could
think
give Taz armor like all the time.
yeah,
So I feel like
I
that'd be
think
pretty
that's
good.
pretty fitting. Or if it's like Taz Garnet,
Yeah, not like that.
I feel like that would go pretty nasty too.
Iron Giant and Tom and Jerry, or I mean, if you put
There's
Iron,
no hope for Iron Giant.
you think he's that bad?
No, no, like he is really good. He just covers a lot of space with his attacks, and I don't know who needs that much coverage.
His
You know what I'm
hitboxes are
saying?
yeah, his hitboxes are ridiculous, dude.
Like maybe Iron Giant Shaggy is the way to go. Because Shaggy will be on the outside and just sidekick you
Yeah,
to get in there and protect Iron
that
Giant.
sidekick, bro. Let's not talk about that, Jesus. But I like this tier list. I think this is where everyone stands. I feel like rearranging them was a good idea. I just wanted to do them in alphabetically, just so that I could get them where they should be placed, and then
Mm-hmm.
rearrange them to like how good they were on that tier. So I feel like this is our tier list for season one. I feel like if anyone picked this up, they could feel the same way in both 1v1s and 2v2s. So hope you guys liked it. If you did, you already know what to do. Go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe and turn on your notifications by ringing the bell so you don't miss any of our YouTube videos. And I am currently live on Twitch recording this video, so go check out my Twitch. Same handle as it is on YouTube, just my underscore luck. Hope to see you guys over there. I usually stream on the weekends, somewhere around 2 to 10 p.m. It counts on what I'm doing that day. So somewhere in that window, I'll be on streaming for usually 2 to 3 hours. So go over there and check me out. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day. If you have any comments or changes that you would make to the tier list, just leave them down in the comments down below. I hope you guys, like I said, have a good rest of the day. And like I always say, stay lucky, friends. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.